not hate to say that we were kidnapped and brought here. It's true. It's not hate to say that we were Jim Crow, discriminated and segregated. It's true.
Our problem has been, as black people, we've always been concerned about white America, never about...
I can't be a pessimist because I'm alive. To be a pessimist means that you have agreed that human life is an academic matter.
We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your man, H-Rap B, Brian H-Rap B Williams to be exact. This is Build and Destroy on Into the Bench Media. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for, if you are tapping in an hour and a half later than you usually do, thank you for tapping in. If you're tapping in at any other time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it may be. Thank you for tapping in. If you can also catch us on www.enterthebench.com and Fanbase, I'll be there live as well. You're presently tapping in on YouTube, so hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. This evening, I'm going to give you a little information, and I apologize again, but I'm rushing. So because I'm rushing, I need to give my parents respect to Dolores and John. Without them, there's no me. Without me, there's no this and that. That means I'll be doing something totally different, or not even here without my parents, to be perfectly honest. Thank you for tapping in. It's us versus the system. Today it's us versus the system. The system, you know, a lot of people talk about the man out to get me and things of that nature. There is the man. Don't get it twisted. The man exists, but it is not a white man, a Latino man, a black man, or anything. It is a system designed to get working class people put on their behinds. And that's just point blank, period, end of sentence. If you are a working class individual, the system is anti-you. It is not a Democrat or Republican. It is not anything like that, or any culture that you're a part of. It is a group of people that are at the top stealing from the people at the bottom, and they want you at the bottom so they can continue to rise and rise and rise. You hear things like all tides lift, high tide lifts all boats. But if you're at the bottom of the tide, you're just drowning. And I speak directly to my community, the black community, but I am speaking to all people who get up and go to work every day and who are not affluent. So, you know, while I'm speaking to my people directly, I am also speaking to you, because we're all part of one human body. We're part of one human body. We're all under God. God created us all in his image, and so forth and so on. I don't want to get into the minutia of race and things of that nature. We're all part of separate tribes, just like you, your family, your community, your county, your city, so forth and so on. Now, but we're in this cycle of misinformation. And while in a cycle of misinformation, what you have to do is realize that you're in a cycle of misinformation. And once you identify that, then you understand what needs to be done next. You must find a way to get actual information, because total chaos and mass confusion is how the rich and powerful stay rich and powerful. Because if you believe what they're saying, then you run this way, that person run that way, and then it's just a division of all communities, cultures, and things of that nature. And then there is no community, there is no culture, there is only division and chaos. And if you fall victim to the minutia, what happens is you place yourself in what is called a caste system. Caste, just like a cast that will go on your arm, foot, leg, or what have you, you are locked in to a position, and it'll be extremely difficult to come out of that situation, because you are taught to not like yourself first and foremost. If you don't like yourself, you can't like anybody. If you don't love the person in the mirror, you will never love anybody outside that mirror. Now, and once you get to that, then you won't love the person next to you. You won't love the person right to you. You won't love the people that you claim that you dedicate your life to them. No, you can't dedicate your life to them, because if you dedicate your life to them, you won't have anything for yourself. You're being the best you. At this point, you will be selfish. You will be selfish and make sure you're the greatest you can be. And once you're the greatest you can be, you'll be able to help those people with you. And then you'll help the people around you. And then it will become contagious. The most advantageous thing you can do in a situation like we're in is not pay attention. Not pay attention, because see, there are inalienable facts that are part of your life, and they cannot be bent, they cannot be twisted, they cannot be turned around. One of the facts is your parents, they loved you. No matter how far short they came of your expectations, you can honestly sit back and say, my parents loved me. Most of our parents, and in most cases our grandparents, they instill certain things into us. We have those things. We don't have to deviate from the true essence of the person that talked to you. Don't get confused with the messenger. Pay attention to the message. The message is what's important. You can, just like when we go to church, a lot of people stand outside of the church and they wag their finger at the church. That pastor's no good because he's a crooked. He's all about money. That may be the case, but he's giving you a book. He's giving you a book of information. He's giving you a book that in hip hop culture that I'm steeped in. We created an acronym, and it may be an acronym that was about way before hip hop came about. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's what the Bible is. It's a group of stories, and it's a group of situations in which that if you follow those things, it will enhance you. Now, this guy's at the pulpit, and he's giving you that information. If you start listening to him and paying attention to him, that's when you've gone awry. If you listen to the instructions from the book and read the book yourself, that's when you'll be on the right path. Whether you believe or not, you don't have to be a believer to be able to identify with stories, parables, and information that will enhance your spirit, your mind, and yourself. First and foremost, if you love yourself, you love God because God is a part of you. If you love God, then you cannot go wrong. A lot of us get caught up in who's telling the story and not what the story is. And that's where we go wrong in secular life. We watch the news and we see people that look like me breaking the law every single solitary day. You get fair statistics. People that look like me, we hurt each other. People like me, they steal. People like me that look like me, they rob. They don't take care of their families. They don't do everything they can to ensure that everything around them is safe. And in a lot of cases, it's true. If you consider a lot, about 7 or 8%. See, it's a thing called a loud minority. And I don't mean minority as in culture or race. I mean the loud minority of people in society that break these social norms. It's not a lot of people breaking the law. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's up to you. You can look at your family. You could be part of the most notorious family in the world, notorious families in the world. They could be filled with murderers, thieves, rapists, drug dealers, and what have you. But guess what? If you just looked at the grand scope of your family, you don't see a lot of people in your lineage that just said, to hell with it, I'm gonna do wrong. Nope, I'm just gonna do wrong. It's not a lot of people that does that. Because if that's the case, they'd be building new prisons every day. They would be building new prisons every day. And then you always have to ask this question, the why behind the why. So it's easy to point your finger at people who've taken the wrong path and say they should have known better. Just because you know better. You could come from the worst situation in the history of the world, and you could be, as the great MC, poet, or whatever you want to refer to him, Tupac Shakur said, you could be the rose that rose through the concrete. But how many roses rise through the concrete? That's why that rose is so unique, because he fought through the concrete. You can look at your situation and see nothing but darkness. And as the Bible said, maybe you're a seed being germinated. You're a seed that's in darkness, and you're going to rise up above it. The propagandized news that you get on a daily basis that indoctrinates you into a way of thinking in a judgmental position, puts you in a situation to whereas you're only, if you follow it, you're only leading to your own defeat and destruction. These are the facts. A lot of people probably doubt me, you just taking up for the system. You always making excuses. No, I've made a whole lot of stupid ass decisions in my life, and I'm fighting through them right now. I made a lot of poor decisions. I made some great ones too. I'm not a total loser or anything of that nature, but I understand how easy it is to be led down the wrong path. You have people who are dishonest with themselves. You have people who are dishonest with you. But what you have to do is be able to fight through that. And today, and every week, I want to bring it to your attention how we're going to get past this. Everybody in the United States, most media, podcasts, and things of that nature, they're talking about the election. They're talking about, you got some people talking about you can trust a former president. Donald J. Trump. And there's other people that are saying you can't trust Vice President Kamala Harris. And you know what? Both people are right. Both people are right. But as a human being, as an adult, it's your job to be in one of the three phases of life. You got three phases. And I remember this because I used to live at 1650. The first address I ever known was 1655 West Hastings. And I had my great-grandmother live downstairs. My grandmother lived upstairs. My mom would drop me and my siblings off. And there would be days that me and my cousins would sit out there and we would laugh with my grandmother. We used to call her Mama Esther. And we would sit out there and laugh and joke with me. My grandmother Lois, her mother, Mama Esther. And sometimes my mother would be out there, my aunts and uncles, and dozens and dozens of my cousins. So we'd sit out there, and there would be days. It would be days that Mama Esther would just sit out there with us and have a great time. It was a great family situation. And all of a sudden, she would get up and walk away. And not say a word, wouldn't say goodbye, say, I'll be right back. She'd just look at the sky and walk away. And then other times, some elders would get, my knees would be bothering me. And then like me, my cousin Eric, my sisters would be like, old people always talking about they back hurt and his hurt. And then, you get people like my cousin Renee and others. They'll go, you're all going to learn one day. And we'd be like, whatever. So they would go in the house, following their grandmother and their mother, whatever. And next thing you know, it's raining. And we're running our pool behinds in Mama Esther's house. And she just looked at us, wouldn't say a word. The reason I told you that story is this. There's certain things that older people know that you don't. And then it's middle-aged people, much like myself. We know that my children and my nieces and nephews, they don't know. And it's come time for us to listen to each other. It really is. Because I want you to start paying attention to life. In life, you ever notice us with grandchildren and the elders? If you're the elder in your family, grandchildren just somehow naturally gravitate to those elders, even the people older than me. My children, my daughter, at one point didn't like anybody. But my mother, my nephew, my great nephew, who's born on my mother's birthday, he was a spoiled brat as a little boy. He's born on my mother's birthday. He cried with everybody. Bria didn't like anybody, but they liked my mother. Here's the thing. Think about it like this. It's a cyclical situation to where as knowledge is given. It is a circle or 8, whichever one you want to do, a circle or 8. 8 looks cuter, but the circle is a circle. The thing is, the babies gravitate to the elders from a spiritual perspective. The children have just left the Creator. They have information that you don't even know about. You ever notice how you put a child in front of an iPad or something of that nature? They operate it better than you. They find things they never get frustrated. They take things and they just play. Blocks, they do the same. They build things. Nobody ever told a child to build something with blocks. He just built it. You give him a box, you're going to make a fort and so forth and so on. But they gravitate to that older person. Could it be that older person is closer to God because they're at the end of their mission? These are my mother's words. I might be at the end of my mission, Brian. So the elders, they're at the end of their mission. They're closer to God. And that young person is at the beginning of this mission. He just left God. So they may have something spiritually to talk about. Never uttering the word, never talking, but for whatever reason, that older person can relate to that younger child. It's because she raised children. No, could be that spiritual thing. And what we allow people to do with this marketing campaign called news, called media, called news, called television, called entertainment, or what have you. Maybe that's the disruption in the spiritual connection between all of us. You ever notice that people just tell insane lies about things and nobody holds them accountable anymore? We don't do those things. Nobody's telling the truth. We're just angry and pointing fingers and judging people. That's what we're dealing with on this platform today. We're going to talk about the fact that the news media gives you information to make outside people dislike the culture we're a part of, because our people are lazy. Our people steal. Our people rob people. Our people are nefarious and do everything they can to be the wrong. And we complain too much because, we need to just get off our ass and do what we got to do. You could look at things that way. Or use that terminology you use when you're talking to a friend. Well, a hit dog holler. Well, maybe we're the hit dog. Maybe that's why we continue to holler and squawk. And guess what? Maybe we do complain too much because we keep trying to inculcate ourselves into a system that does not want us. The American system has shown us that it does not, it despises Black Americans. And then we are dumb enough to divide ourselves. See, I have a great job, so you need to have one too, and blah, blah, blah. And see, I made it, so you should make it. Well, in a euphoric world, in a utopian world, that everything works like that. If everything is even, intelligent people rise to the maximum of their potential. And guess what? You've been fooled into believing intelligence has something to do with your ability to pass a test, write out a sentence, or be an orator, as I'm doing presently. Has nothing to do with intelligence. Maybe being an orator is my gift. Maybe I'm not. Maybe all those years loving rap music, maybe I'm an MC right now, and I didn't know it the whole time. How about that? Maybe that's what it is. God didn't make any blanks. That's another family member saying, God rest his soul. God don't make no blanks. So you're good at something. I might be good at mathematics. I might be good at running my mouth off. I might be good at reading these news stories, absorbing it, and it disseminating it to the people who support me. God, thank you. God bless you for supporting me. Thank you. But maybe, just maybe, we need to stop judging each other and use each other as one piece, as a piece of a gigantic puzzle. And maybe we have the Black community, we got a 10,000 piece puzzle. And maybe we're part of a 50,000 piece puzzle called the United States. What I want us to understand is it's time for us to fix that 10,000 and not be so concerned with the 50,000. Because guess what? A lot of the people in the 50,000, they've been trained and brainwashed and duped into believing to not have any faith in you, even though the music they listen to comes from you. The food that they eat comes from you. The television shows that they like come from you. The movie stars that they love are from your community. The athletes that they love come from your community. The writers and the writers of the movies that they love comes from your community. But you don't pay attention to those things. You allow them to identify, when you identify the ills in their situation, instead of zipping up their coat and saying, you know what, I need to get my act together. What we do is align ourselves with those people and turn back around and say, I've made it and you haven't, and that's your problem because I did it. It's easy to do it. It's easy to fall into that foolishness. It's easy to fall into that trope. It's easy to align yourself with a system that looks like it's working. And the system is working perfectly. The system is working perfectly. The system defunds things and push people in horrible situations and then say, you should be able to do this. The system divides us. And especially in my community right now, we got people talking about women are no good. Why are they always uplifting the women, not uplifting the men? Why are they always doing this for women? Why are they always, well, those are called suckers. Because the thing is this, if you have anything close to agreeing with me saying it's a system out here to divide us, most Black people will say that. Okay, but you have to overcome the system. But don't point the finger at a team of sisters that are coming up. I heard people this week on the news say, well, I'm tired. I heard Black men who not going to support Vice President Harris. Allow me to put a pause on this. I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. I get less than a hot goddamn who you vote for, be honest with you. That's on you. But back to my point, is people are saying, don't trust, I'm tired of these women being propped up. Well, there's more women in the House of Representatives, more men in the House of Representatives than women. So a couple of women get slots and you got a problem. There's more judges in the United States of America, circuit court judges, meaning community, federal judges, meaning state and federal. More of them than men than women, and more Black men than women. I even heard a dummy say, look, the Democratic Party always doing something for men. Women never do anything for men. Well, there's been 3 Black people on the United States Supreme Court. Thurgood Marshall, Clarence Thomas, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Unless I've lost my damn mind, Clarence Thomas and Thurgood Marshall are Black men. Ketanji Brown Jackson is a black woman who's dedicated her entire career to fighting for us. Again, that's that propaganda, foolishness, and nonsense that you continue to fall for, that you continue to buy into, because, see, they gonna do this. But look, oh yeah, but then you turn your foolish ass around, and I'm gonna use profanity today because I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm not gonna hold my tongue today. So if I offend a couple of pastors that's listening to me, pray for you, boy. Reverend God, you got it. You my man. But your dumb ass go home and you play Tupac's Dear Mama, man, I love this song. And then you turn around and you disrespect black women. You play the OJ's I Always Love My Mama, and you turn around and say you sick of people supporting people's mama. You were raised in a home where your mama bust her ass every day. I know my mother did. You know, I know all my friends' mom bust their asses. And they made it seem like we were not poor when we were poor. And then you turn around and you say you sick of women except. This is called that. This is part of that propagandized foolishness that I warned you about, or the aforementioned propagandized BS. Because, again, I don't care if your mother got caught up in a drug situation. I don't care if your mother was an alcoholic. I don't care if your mother was a lady of the street. More than likely, she was doing those things to help you, or she got stressed out and it overcame her. So instead of judging and saying it's too many, why don't you take a step back and look around and realize what's going on? The black community is a fist. Elders, grandparents, parents, younger people. If you separate any of these, it's just a hand. Now, you know, if it's an open hand, if I remove my thumb, I could slap you. And it'll sting for a little while. But if I make a fist, it becomes unstoppable. Most people won't even break their fist if they hit you. If you bend your wrist like this and you hit somebody in their face, you more than likely will not, unless you just have some type of calcium deficiency. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about that. It's always a caveat to something. But if you punch somebody properly, you become unstoppable. And as long as we continue to be a hand or finger or digits, we will have no threat to the system. And the system is to destroy working class people again. So you could be wildly successful, or you could be going to work every day wanting to slap the hell out that supervisor. Either way, you need that fist. You need the fist. Or you can just continue to pay attention to gossip, have your mind diluted, and pay attention to straight BS and think, hey, I'm getting over, I'm making it. You're not making it. Because in order to make it, I can't make it without my lady making it. I can't make it without my children making it. I can't make it without my siblings making it. I can't make it without my cousins making it, my aunts, uncles, brothers. You know, everybody needing to make it. The community needs to make it, because life is not a pyramid. Earth is on a flat surface. What you see is a flat surface. If you put yourself at the top, you can be pushed over. But if you make a roof and make it a flat situation, then everybody wins in that situation, because then there's levels. There's levels. But we continue to think, because I have it, I ain't struggling. But you need to be worried at all times. You need to be worried about your great-grandchildren. And I personally believe that's where my community fails at. We worry about us. I mean, we worry about right now. We worry about this generation. We need to be thinking about our great-grandchildren's grandchildren. And that's how you win in this society. We have been tricked into believing a lot of foolishness. There's a lot of foolishness out there. And we need to step away from that foolishness. You need to stop worrying about who you pray to, who you lay with, what you do in your personal life, your organs. If you're sinning, if I'm sinning, because you know what? A lot of y'all got friends who beat the hell out of their ladies. But you ain't even interrupting that. A lot of y'all got friends who steal, scam. You're not worried about it. You're not sleeping. You just worry about if you can get some too. Oh man, hook me up. But you're not worried about the person on the corner not eating. The Democratic Party don't do this. If you didn't ask any of these parties what will they do for you, then to make demands on the system, you've played right into their hands. I've said this. I've been saying this for about 18 months. And that's why I'm not going to get into that again. What we do is we pile on. Much like this situation with our brother Sean Combs, Bill Cosby, Robert Kelly, and other black O.J. Simpson, and others who've fallen by the wayside. They've made poor decisions, and they're going to be made to pay for them. There's this thing in the universe called justice. Justice is the real thing in life. See, God deals in justice. Justice is the reward or penalty of your actions. That's it. So, if our brother Combs, our brother Kelly, our brother Cosby, or our brother Simpson did what they were accused of, Bill Cosby, he's going to deal with it with the Creator. OJ is facing the Creator as we speak. And Combs and Kelly, they will face the penalty. But what we do is, and a lot of us don't even realize, I believe we don't even realize that's what we're doing. We are jumping in to fit in. See, I'm not like him, so I'm gonna condemn him. See, that's your damn problem. See, I knew it. I can't stand him. How you can't stand somebody you've never laid eyes on? Most of us ain't never seen Sean Combs in concert. You've seen him on TV pretending he's playing a role. We found out that he's an abusive SOB. I don't rock with him. All you got to do is walk away from him at that point. And don't tell that. I ain't listening no more to the song, because if we ain't going nowhere, we're bad for it. Boys for Life. Fool around and my computer malfunction start playing, I'm a bum. So I'm not even gonna tell you. I ain't never listened to this music. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm listening because I separate the man from the art. But we seem to find it necessary to get on TV and have these foolish conversations about we knew. And then you letting people get paid for snitching on them now 30 years after the fact. Hold it, bro. You mean you cashed all those checks? Because guess what? If you put your hands on somebody I care for, whether it be my lady, my children, our children, my sisters, my aunts, God forbid, even my grandmother was alive or something like that, my mom, I ain't talking on TV about it, and I ain't rocking with you like that. I don't rock with guys that just run around here whooping on women and mistreating people, because that makes you a sucker. But it's cool to get paid for it. Again, the great Dr. Martin Luther King spoke about these things. We're morally bankrupt because we will sit back and watch the destruction of someone, and as long as it's beneficial to us, again, we're operating as a digit. As long as it's beneficial to me, you give a damn about the ring finger and the pinky and the thumb, because the index finger's working. No, it doesn't work like that. Either we a fist or we not. And am I telling you, oh man, overlook Sean Combs? No. If you mess with somebody I care for, just have them look on my mugshot. That's it. But see, we don't have to show the system or the man or the white man or whatever you want to label it. We don't have to show him that we're not like that. Because guess what? Again, man, I will ask you this for the 1 millionth time. Think about 10 people in your family. I bet you none of, or if any, one of them participates in criminality. So extrapolate that to the people that you've known throughout your life, and you will find very few criminals. We are hardworking people in America, no matter what community you come from. You can be agnostic, you can be atheist, you can be part of Judaism, Buddhism, old schoolism, new schoolism, whatever you want to be, Christian, Baptist, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness. But guess what? We all have a certain moral compass that we follow. And whatever deity you want to attach to it, or if you just say, I'm just doing it on my own because it's the universe that's making me right. Either way, you follow that. And that thing says, love your brothers as you love yourself. So for you to tell the story about this dude being a jackass 20, 30 years later, it really means you were a part of it. You've heard me say this on the program before. If you see a woman getting accosted or raped or sexually assaulted or something like that, and you don't do anything, you may as well hold her down too, because you participated with non-participation. So what we need to do is remove ourselves from these situations. It's a storm of foolishness over our heads right now. And that storm is not, we can either stop and watch the storm and then get wet ourselves, or we can keep walking through. Why would you why if you was walking through hell, you wouldn't go, whew, it's sure hot here. Let me sit down for a little while. No, you walk through hell and get the hell out of here. And that's what we fail to do. And I'm here to tell you, we need to do that. I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to show you a video about how you get turned from our community. They turn them against us, and then we move forward, and then we turn on those things. I'll be back shortly after you watch this video. Did not upload the video, I guess. I'm not going to show you the video right now. I'm going to upload the video. And it's going to take about 20 seconds. I got 20 seconds to talk to you about. But this is a situation to whereas we continue to let people to take our things and turn them on us, and then make us look at the things as if they're not happening. You have people not liking the great Dr. Martin Luther King. You have people not liking the great Malcolm X. And both of those people are on the same path to uplift our communities. How could you let anybody who's talking about liberation and uplifting our people, and you could turn that into something horrible? It's not horrible. But if you're trying to fit into a box, then it could be horrible. And that box that box is built, and it's a wall built around that box, and it's police with guns in that box, and they don't want you there. But you have the right. You have to also have the right to do a lot of things that we don't exercise the right on. So if you're going to participate, why don't you make sure I'm only making sure the people I care for are good, and the people that are around me are good, and so forth and so on. That's my job. And their job is to make sure I'm good. Like I told you a couple of weeks ago, pay attention to your mate and make sure you're ringing her or him, because they're taking on weight, and our community is taking on weight. But if we continue to try to be a part or accepted of another community, we will continue to start struggling and suffer. And that's just the bottom line. And this video is it's at 94%. And I just want us to understand. I got a lot more to talk about, but I want us to understand this is what we're faced with. When you point the finger and say, see, that's his problem. Don't worry about his problem. Or you know what? I'm through with this person. You can go to hell because you don't know. You always do me wrong. Man, what you do is you pray for that person. And believe it or not, the word that phrase that just come out of my mouth, just pray for that person. Boy, if you'd asked me that 72 hours ago, I'd have told you drop dead. I'd have told you drop dead. But you got to understand, I'm growing every day. I had the longest prayer session with God I've ever had in my life today. Around 8:30 this morning. And I got revelations, realized, to the point where I rewrote my entire show today. I got revelation to realize sometimes people know exactly what they're doing, but to waste time in their negativity is when you messing up. That's when you lose it. When you embrace their negativity, that's when you go, I'm really dropping the ball. Because when you immerse yourself in their foolishness instead of accepting their foolishness and keeping moving, you've wasted time, angry, and hating them. Video just uploaded. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. HRAP-B, Internet Mesh Media, Build and Destroy. I'll be back shortly.
Word born from the heartbeat of jazz, born out of the struggle of history and the whispers of resilience, a word that is now so toxic that it's lost all meaning. Well, this is the word woke. And today we're going to unravel the history of woke and how it devolved from a cry of awareness to a catch-all term for people on the left and Black people in general. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at OneMikeHistory.com. Please support the YouTube channel. Please support my Patreon or my Buy Me Coffee. And I have a new channel, One Mike 2. Check it out for audio-only episodes. And without further ado, let's get started. This journey starts in the Roaring 20s, an era that was painted with the vibrant flows of jazz and the explosion of Black culture. Underneath this glittering surface, a profound movement stirred. Marcus Garvey, a visionary Jamaican philosopher and social activist, called on global Black citizens. In 1923, he commented to wake up Ethiopia, to wake up Africa. Through his words, Garvey ignited a spark in Black communities across the globe. His plea was not about physical awakening, but a call for political and social enlightenment. As the years rolled on, there was this notion of wokeness that continued to evolve. But it was in 1938 where the phrase really took hold, intertwined with the cry for justice with the rhythmic sounds of blues. In the hands of blues musician Lead Belly, the term found a new stage. A tragic yet pivotal point in Black history unfolded in Scottsboro, Alabama in 1931, when 9 Black teenagers were accused of raping 2 white women, a crime that they did not commit. Lead Belly crafted a poignant protest song about the Scottsboro boys, and at the day's end, he collected his thoughts and spoke to his audience, stating that I made this little song about down there. He spoke, I advise everybody to be a little careful when they go along down there, and it's best to stay woke and to keep your eyes open. His words were not just about caution, they were a shield, an emblem worn for those navigating the perilous landscape of a nation riddled with racial injustice. The call to stay woke seeped into the bones of the listeners, and the mantra for survival was a beacon in the dark. It was more than just about being physically awoken. It was about being perpetually aware for the social and racial injustice that swirled all around them, and understanding this undercurrent that could pull them in at any moment. This usage by Lead Belly became the most constant and consistent message of the term woke ever since. Into this environment stepped a young writer by the name of William Melvin Kelly. Ever intrigued and observant, he realized that Black language was not just idle chatter, but it was a powerful form of expression, carrying weight and wisdom of its creators. In 1962, Kelly wrote about this revelation in a New York Times article entitled, If You're Woke, You Can Dig It. Kelly challenges the mainstream reader's assumption about slang from beatnik cultures that was in vogue with white Americans at the time, and explained who actually originated these terms. He firmly credits Black jazz musicians and the Black community. He introduces the term woke to describe awareness and a certain kind of sharpness that's about being more than just physically awoken. It's about understanding the deeper unspoken truths. Kelly speaks not just about the linguistic creativity, but about cultural appropriation. He paints a picture of Black Americans watching others mimic their words, fumble their music, and generally just miss the mark about Black people in general. The pride they felt about the mastery of their own language and music tinged with a bit of anger as they watched their culture be so poorly imitated. This concept of woke then was not just about awareness, but it was about the ownership of this awareness. Kelly hints of a future where the term might traverse beyond its own origins, risking it being diluted and misrepresented. Fast forward through the decades. As woke evolves and shifts and is adopted by wider circles, losing the richness that Kelly first spotted. As it became mainstream, it morphed into shorthand for political or social awareness. Kelly initial insight that you needed a hip assist from a Black creator almost seems prophetic. And in essence, woke predicted its own fate, because today the term woke and its derivatives such as politically correct, social justice warrior, cancel culture, DEI have been adopted by conservative groups as an insult to people on the left or as a soft N-word for Black people. These phrases have become so negatively charged that they've been labeled skunk terms. And this has led to people abandoning their use, as these malicious intent of those with imposing views have made them so unpleasant that they can't be used in their original context. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy. This is the history of woke. With life stories like this, you can find most at womackhistory.com. I'd like to thank all my Patreon subscribers. Without you, none of this could be possible. And peace.
Thank you. As you saw, this was exactly what I was talking about. When you are aware of what's going on, nobody can turn things away from you. But you got terms like woke, and you got classes like critical race theory, and they've turned the enhancement of people, they've turned our vernacular against us. You got people who actually believe these terms. They use technology to make you believe certain things. And then because you are in a financial disadvantage, academic disadvantage, things of that nature, you go along with it. And then they even go as far as use the news media, again, the marketing ploy. And the reason I keep calling it a marketing, you've been duped into believing marketing is trying to sell you something. No, marketing 101. Go to school, you find out, you take a marketing class. Marketing teaches you that marketing has nothing to do with selling you anything. That is 100% true. It has absolutely nothing to do with selling you anything. It has everything to do with the making you and giving you the belief that you need something. You need the new Jordans because Michael Jordan, I'm going to market this dude, Michael Jordan, to you like if you don't participate in this, you are less than. You need the new LeBrons. You need the new G-Shock watch. You need a Rolex when you get rich. You need a Rolls Royce when you get rich. You need a Mercedes as a symbol of your success. You need these things because without them, how do people know? You even see the great Muhammad Ali speak about how he has to pay $1 million for a house here in Chicago, Illinois, and he needs to make all these things so that people will listen to him. And this is why you think you need this. This is why a lot of pastors ride around in fancy cars. So they want to show, they have a need to show you, see, God has blessed me. But guess what? Don't tell me God blessed me by waking me up and then you need a Mercedes to show me that he blessed you. You see the thing? That's called marketing. So you need these things to show. But if you know God and I know God, we both know God. You don't need anything. It's okay to want. It's okay to want a Mercedes. It's okay to want a damn airplane. Understand that. It's okay. But marketing makes you believe what people tell you. Critical race theory. Or, you know what? Let me go one step back. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'll show you some of his writings in a second. You're going to be shocked. Ta-Nehisi Coates is an award-winning writer. He has written everything from comic books to best-selling think pieces. This is one of the greatest writers and greatest thinkers in the history of the world. Understand that. He recently wrote a book about oppression. And he went on CBS News and he got excoriated for him, actually called him an extremist. And extremist, if you're not familiar with the terminology, extremist is kind of person that'll blow up a building, shoot up a school, go to a Walmart and shoot that up. That's what an extremist is. Timothy McVeigh, an extremist. What's the dude in the Branch Davidian? David Koresh, extremist, and things of that nature. Guy who's at Buffalo shooting up the grocery store, extremist. Things are not going to happen in time, so I'm going to expedite things. I'm going to take extreme measures to get where I want to be. Only because he called out colonization, oppression, and segregation and discrimination. And he shows you how this isn't germane to America. White supremacy reigns supreme worldwide. Even though white people make up about maybe 17% of the population of the earth, the rest of us, the other 85, 84, 83% of us are people of color. White people control the world. And when they get called out, they get angry. And when they get angry, they want to take action. They want to make you out to be a bad guy. Now, let's talk about things like the critical race theory class. Critical race theory is just a class in which you take that shows you the lies and propagandized information that you got. Like Abraham Lincoln is our friend. George Washington never told a lie. He cut down the cherry tree. And all that other nonsense you learn throughout the world. No, those are not the cases. South Carolina, Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote a book about how you can have pride in being black. They banned that book. I'll get us a banning books in a little while. They banned that book. He showed how he went to Ghana. Same kind of thing is happening on the continent of Africa, where 89% of the people look like you and I. 89%. I just want that to sink in. I said it 3 times for a fact. 89% of the people look like you and I. The other 11% are white people and people from Asia, no matter which portion of Asia they come from. And then he went to the Gaza Strip where this big thing, this big hullabaloo is going about people getting their land taken from them, and it's been a war since 1947. Understand this. If you think 1947, man, that's a long time ago. My mother was born in 1947. She had children in 64, 65, and 70. She died in 2010, and she's been dead 14 years. And that war has been going on. Her entire life went on in the midst of that. So that's what critical race theory teaches you. It is going to teach you to think critically about the racial issues throughout the world. And Ta-Nehisi Coates brought it up in front of the world. And they're trying to make him out to be a bad guy. Called him an extremist. And this leads me to other things that's going on. See, they want to turn you against, they've officially turned most white people, because we have this thing, because we got this cool white homie at work, and we got this cool white cousin who married to a white lady or married to a white man, and we got this cool white neighbor, that most white people are cool. Sorry, they're not. And this is not a shot at white people. This is a shot at people who are stupid enough to get brainwashed into this colonization that we call United States of America. Y'all know what I think about it. We live on a crime scene. The United States is a crime scene. You can get angry with me. You can say, oh man, you can't speak for everybody. And I'm not trying to speak for everybody. But that's the difference in listening to understand and listening to respond. Because there's some people listening and they saying, see, that just shows. Whatever. Drop dead. I told them, I'm tired, I'm stressed. I'm finna keep it funky with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky with you. But when you buy into this thing, no matter what culture you're part of, because guess what? You got people like Timothy Scott. He looked like me, but he ain't for me. You got people like Byron Donald. He looked like me, but he ain't for me. You got people like Clarence Thomas, who went to college and put a poster of Malcolm X on his wall and then does everything he can to tear down Black America. Everything he can to tear down Black America. Everything, y'all. So all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And everybody that's outside of my community is not against my community. But again, the people who are in power, they do everything they can to maintain power. Nobody relinquish power, because if the shoe's on the other foot, you never know. But history tells us that's not the case, but you never know. But when you talk about things like critical race theory has been banned in certain elementary schools. Again, this is how propaganda. I don't like critical race theory. They should be teaching that in the schools. This just shows you the ignorance of the American populace, because then you get Black people saying, you get Latino people saying, you get a lot of people saying it. And then you never find out until you do some research that you actually have to go to high school. You have to go to elementary school. You have to go to high school. You got to go to college. And then you have to go to grad school. And then you have to find it in the courses of electives, meaning I elected to take that. And then you take critical race theory. But it's a bunch of dumbass people that's walking around the United States of America that believes that they can get their children are being taught critical race theory. Or you got people like in Oklahoma, when you're teaching the actual truth about colonization, about the Louisiana Purchase, which I found even more information on Louisiana Purchase today, about the South and the North. A lot of you people believe that the people in the North up here in Chicago, the racial situation ain't as bad as it is in Mississippi. You're right, it ain't as bad as it is in Mississippi. It's worse. Just because I got a bunch of tall buildings, a bunch of lights up here, you think it's better? Oh man, the people in Texas crazy. Now the people in Chicago crazy. It is a bunch of racists and bigots walking around Chicago like you would not believe. In the South, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, Virginia, South North Carolina, West Virginia, they got sundown towns. In Chicago, you got sundown neighborhoods. Yeah. And it ain't a bunch of rednecks that gonna run you down. There's a bunch of rednecks in blue and white cars with disco lights on top of it, pull a gun on you and blow your damn brains out. Right here in Chicago, 2024. Yeah. So don't think just because you live in below the Mason-Dixon line, I live above the Mason-Dixon line, I did above and below them. Don't think it's better or worse. It's the same. It's the United States of America. The United States. They even tell you when you leave the United States, you'll tell people, I'm an American. And guess what? Mexicans are Americans. Canadians are American. Central Americans are American. South Americans are American. You're a citizen of the United States. You don't even know where you're from. And that's why propagandized BS that tell you what to do and how to think and how to treat people will put your Black behind or white behind or Asian behind or Latino behind in a trick bag. That's what we used to say back in the day. You be in a trick bag. Like I told you, man, for the people who come in late, who usually not used to me using profanity, I apologize, but I'm stressed. I'm tired. That's why y'all getting Brian Williams. Y'all ain't getting H-Rap today. Y'all getting Brian. So y'all not even getting Brian. Y'all getting Brian. But these are the things that we continue to fight against, because at the end of the day, Ta-Nehisi Coates is speaking about oppression, Not black oppression, not Asian oppression, not Latino oppression, not white oppression. He's talking about oppression. And to quote him, I am a child of segregation. I am a child of Jim Crow. I am a child of apartheid. So don't tell me not to identify this. And if you're dumb enough to be just because it's not happening to you, you don't think you're in line. All you have to do is go back to the Second World War. And then you see the Ethiopian Jews get killed first. Then you see the people that they call gypsies getting killed. And then you see the Ashkenazi Jews that are the most famous, and 6 million of them died. Then you get them. So guess what? They villainized the Ethiopian Jews. They villainized the people that they call gypsies. Those are the people that I think the culture of the Kardashians. I don't know what they're called. I'm too tired to even think about it. I'm not even going to put any thought into thinking about it. And then you got the people who are Ashkenazi Jews, the people who are accused of running the world and all this, whatever. Then they got killed. And they met the oppression because nobody stepped up. They allowed people to disrespect, denigrate, and discriminate against, and then everybody started dying. If you don't understand, that's what you're facing right now. You are facing that very fate right now. But you got dumbass black men sitting around talking mad because there's a woman in charge. There was a woman in charge of your food house. The house that you grew up in, more than likely was run by a woman. And you mad that a woman about to be the leader of the free world. And again, vote for who you like. But don't adapt the mentality of your oppressor and then complain about being oppressed, complain about discrimination, complain about racism, and you participate in sexism. This officially makes you a dumbass. But again, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm not even to ask you who to vote for. I'm just saying, if you participate in oppression in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you are an oppressor, you are a colonizer, you are the problem. And then you got people like these corporations. Leads me to my ultimate point. We finance our oppression, everyday black people, back to us. We finance our oppression. You got a legion of people that complain about how racist MLB, NBA, and NFL is. Man, they say they don't need to hire some black people to tell us what to do. They need to hire some black people to pick people. They need to hire some black people to do that. They need to let us buy one of their teams because we are just as good as them. Or if you're that disenchanted with a situation, walk the hell away. Walk the hell away. Guess what? If we start hating it, if we think we're being discriminated against, we're not getting a fair shake and people disrespecting us, walk the hell away. But you know what we are? The black community, we are unofficially the nerd or the quote unquote nerd or the outside the cool, outside the in crowd person who none of the cute girls / guys or they or them or whatever you want to be a participant in. Nobody wanted to date you in high school. And then you got a summer job or you got an after school job and your clothes got better. They still don't want to date you. And then you got a promotion at the after school job, you got a haircut. And then nobody wanted to date you. But then you hit the lottery and then all of a sudden you went to college. And then you got a better job, and you pulled up in that Jag, and you had them slick threads on, you had that diamond crested watch on, or that the red bottom joints, and your body was cut to the nines, and you was the finest thing. You was finer than old wine, and all of a sudden, all the guys like you, all the girls like you, whoever, whatever, LGBTQIEP. Well, I'm not going to exclude anybody, because whatever you do is what you do. But again, you get the point. They didn't want to be bothered with you. And because they didn't want to be bothered with you, now that you got all the stuff that attracts people, now all of a sudden you hit the jackpot. And you'd be a damn fool to date them then or now. And we damn fools for chasing down these people who discriminate against us at will. And then they throw some money at you, you go, hey, because I'm morally bankrupt, I'm going to go for it. Thank you, boss. Okay, boss, thank you. No, you're a damn fool. But why would you base your life on complaining or take time out your life to complain about the system that you finance because you bought the hat, drawers, t-shirt, gloves, socks, whatever, coat, pants, or whatever to support that team. And when you didn't do that, I don't buy none of that stuff, H-Rap. But you sit your black ass down there and watch the TV, you watch the game, and then you go buy the beer and all that stuff. Example, Heinz Ketchup puts out an ad where this woman got this big smile and ketchup all around her mouth. Red ketchup. Tell me we just had this thing with Gucci about making black people smile and putting big red lips on them. And y'all tell we sorry. That is out there. That's like me slapping the hell out you tonight. Come on my podcast and say, I'm sorry for slapping you. Are you any less slapped? Or that slap's still there? The disrespect is there. Are you mean to tell me nobody at Heinz Ketchup said, man, remember Gucci got in trouble for this. We're not going to do this. You know why? Because they know your ass ain't going to walk away and find another ketchup company. Who the hell need ketchup? The salty shit going to fuck up your damn blood pressure and it's killing you. But if we walked away from, and then they're going to say, we are a consumer obsessed organization. No, you're not. Y'all sat up and laughed at us. Y'all laughed at us. And we should be laughed at because we going to go buy Heinz Ketchup again. You keep that. See, we keep boycotting for a short period of time. Dr. King and the Southern Christian Ministry Organization, they brought the Alabama Bus Company to its knees. They should have killed it. See, if they'd have went out of business, then we could have swooped in, bought all the buses, and it would have been the Dr. King and the Gang Bus Company. See, why are you going to punch somebody to the ground that will kill you? No, you must kill the entity that is oppressive. You cannot fight it. And then they submit. And hey, you don't believe me? World War I was headed up by one Adolf Hitler. You didn't kill him. I'm not saying kill a human. I'm just saying you didn't destroy it. You let them, and then you brought them back in government. Oh, they like them. We're going to bring them back in. And then you had World War II. Interesting, right? One of the worst presidents in the history of the world was in office from 16 to 20. Disappeared for a little while. And just like AZ, he back. I ain't saying anything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But if we continue to let people do as they feel, insult us, and then we say, like T.I., he could come up with that stupid ass plan. We're going to boycott for 90 days. You think they're going to miss 90 days, brother? Because guess what? Now you're going to go buy 2 belts and 2 purses and 2 hats and 2 pair of drawers. I missed out on the ones I bought. No, you choked them out. You disrespect me. DMX said, you mess with one of us, equals many of us. Disrespect one of us, you see plenty of us. You disrespect one black woman, one black elder, one black child, one black man. We're going to leave you alone, period. And I'm not saying, hey, man, don't get that money in the NFL, MLB, NBA. No, I'm not saying it. But don't dance. Don't do the so you can get some money. Because there's 1,000,005 ways to make money in this world. And if you are the draw, you set the boundaries. That's why they got you hating that young brother LeBron James. Because LeBron James don't have nobody that ain't part of his crew handling anything for him. And he shows you that I'm going to do what I want to do until y'all won't let me. And that's what he's done. But they told you to hate him, and you hated him. Oh, he ain't better than Michael Jordan. So what? Who is? Who's better than Michael Jordan? Nobody? Okay. Conversation over. Moving on. But y'all continue to participate in the anti-this. Chuck D said in 1989, this is what I mean by anti-nigger machine. That's what it is, y'all. That's all it is. They want to keep you ignorant and preoccupied with situations that's going on. They don't want you talking about Ta-Nehisi Coates, because you see that, then you'll see the oppression, discrimination, and basically apartheid situation that you're living in. Oh, we do not need him waking them up. They're trying to control your mind at all points. That's why they got you into technology. See, you're going to be in Twitter, scrolling. I do it. Anytime I'm telling y'all stuff, I'm telling you what I do as well. I'm not above this. I don't watch TV because, see, TV ain't that good. No, I watch TV, watch it to death. That's what I do. I work, go to sleep. You scrolling. That's not reading, y'all. They banning books so you won't expand your mind. See, the reason they don't want you reading, 2 things. If you don't read, then you won't be informed. And if you don't read, it destroys your ability to have an imagination. You ever wonder why people who read more books than watch TV say, that movie was good, but it wasn't as good as the book? You know why? Because the book is in here. Malcolm X walking down the street, this red suit. You see a 5-inch red suit in the movie. It was a dull red with pinstripes. You're like, nah, that ain't how I imagine it. It ain't as good. See, Books enhance imagination. Imagination pushes creativity. Creativity expands your mind and push you into other things. They even shorten up your music. In the 70s, Isaac Hayes, Barry White, them jokers had 12 minutes. Listen to song, it was the 3rd of September by the Temptations. That song in its original form is 12 minutes long. They've reduced it to about 4 minutes now. Isaac Hayes got an album with 6 songs on it. Well, actually 4 songs on it. I think it's 2 on each side, or maybe 3 on each side, because it was about the musical experience. The music enhances you. That's why they removed the music from the impoverished areas, because when you create music, spurs creativity. Creativity spurs escapism. Escapism. See, now you finding out your buddy who used to be with this band, he's overseas playing with another band, and so forth and so on. It helps you dream. That's why TikTok and Instagram, that's why they only give you 90 seconds, because they need you to be focused, then out. Focused, then out. It destroys your ability to be creative. Your imagination does not work in 90-second intervals. If you read, it takes hours to read a book. It takes hours to read a book. And if you sitting there for an hour and your imagination, your brain is naturally, rap, I don't really like to read. Who gives a damn about what you read? Read anything, man. Read anything. Technology is ruining your mind. It is. It's this one book. It's about 5,000 years old, and people still reading. It's called the Holy Bible. It's another book adjacent to that. It's called the Holy Quran. It's another book adjacent to that. The beginning of the Bible is called the Torah. Those books never get old. Those stories never. You can read the Bible from front to back, back to front, middle to front, middle to back, just the middle, and you can read the same story 10,000 times and get a different meaning. The story of Job, perseverance. See, God tested. The devil wanted to test Job, and Job showed him how much faith he had. Or how about this? Teaches you how to tolerate people even when they screw you over. At the beginning of the book of Job met the devil, or Iblis, or whatever you want to call him. He's walking through heaven. How did he get in heaven? I thought he got kicked out of heaven. Tolerance. He said, "What you doing?" "I'm just looking for somebody to mess with." So now you would think, "Oh, hey, man, I'm going to get you." Nope. God let him play his hand, play himself out, so he can show you his power. And he can show you how to deal with people who you angry with, who's wronged you. Wow. 3 different stories in the same story. And you know what? Somebody else can read that same story and get something else out of it. That's one thing you can read. Another thing you can read. A lot of us like comic book movies. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote this. It's the Black Panther Killmonger. It's another story about Killmonger. A lot of y'all go, "Hey man, Killmonger was the hero." You know what? According to this, Killmonger was the hero. By any means, Killmonger. Right here. Killmonger. You can read this. I don't even remember how many pages. I went to my storage and got this. It was, I don't even say how many pages. It was about 50 pages. It took me about 20 minutes to read. It was a cool story. I enjoyed it. Another book you can read. Everybody, most of our people love Dr. King. Dr. King, the coolest black man in history world. But Dr. King, I love Dr. King. They killed Dr. King. Yeah. Y'all love Dr. King, but have you ever read his last book? This book was posthumously published. Posthumously. I'm not trying to be condescending, but some people might not know what posthumously. That means he died and Coretta published it. This is a book called "Where Do We Go From Here? Community or Chaos?" This is not the Dr. King that you know. "I have a dream. I've been to the mountaintop." Dr. King wasn't playing in that book. Take another book. The System. This is about the system. The Color of Money. Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap by Marissa Miranda. You need to read that book with damn the source. I'm still reading it 3 years later. It's only it's only 300 pages, and I'm still reading it, man. It's a heavy book. But guess what? It brought to my attention how black banks being destroyed is a systematic situation. It shows, whereas Dr. King that they presented to you is just like the Jesus they presented to you. Ain't the nicest guy in the world. And this was the Dr. King that really got the bullet in the head. And this is because my cousin Elman Craig Hampton used to read comic books, and I'm still a comic book nerd. You don't have to read everything like Mercer Miranda or Dr. King. You can read Killmonger, but it'll expand your mind and put you in a position to where you'll be thinking about exterior things, not just informative intervals. You won't be thinking about the housewives and the cats and dogs, and you won't be a slave to technology. You need to do this. The reason you need to do that is to hold your attention. You must expand your attention. Your attention span must be expanded, like Donald Trump. I'm tired and I'm sleepy. But you must expand it. Because when you expand it, then it opens doors for things outside of what your normal course of thinking is. And when you do that, you'll come up with ways not to be stressed out, not to be depressed, and not to be hating yourself and others. That's all I need you to do, man. Because if you continue to be a slave to technology, you'll continue to fall victim of people like Oklahoma. If y'all teach the truth, or the truth outside what we want y'all to believe, the teacher gonna get suspended to get fined $10,000. If he get fined $10,000, HBR can't swoop in and say, "Hey, teacher, thank you for teaching the right thing about my people, and here's $10,000." And they'll say, "Nope, he or she has to pay." How asinine is that? Ignorance breeds complacency. Complacency allows people to oppress you. Oppression leads to destruction. And those are the facts. Those are the facts. With that being said, I need you to continue to support me. I need you to hit that like button, hit that share. Y'all already know I will be back shortly. It is your man, H-Rap. 2 fingers, 1 word. I need y'all to pay attention to this song. Hit that like button, hit that share, tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'll see you in 168 hours, 2 fingers, 1 word.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they dying for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for ties, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brains. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim, and you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders are slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth in the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why